make sure you scan the QR code because you get your PD hours on that. We're gonna do get 2 for the price of 1. You're like, what? There's just a lot of things happening, so I appreciate your patience and your kindness. And we will have time to practice on the U-Fly, but I have to do this part first, just for 10 quick minutes, and then we will move on from there. Oh, apologies. All right, there we go. Okay, so this comes from MSCS. Not extra, just data. I'm gonna let it load. All right, so just to agree to some norms, we're gonna stay student-centered, of course, gonna be open, have equity of voice and focus, because we have a lot to learn and we have a lot that we're gonna discuss on today. Our learning outcomes. I need us to popcorn out so that way we can get through this very quickly. So who would like to read the first one? Yes,
Overview. Data teams are small, grade-level, department, course, content, or organizational teams that examine the work generated from a common formative assessment, or CFA, in order to drive instruction and improve professional practice.
Yes, thank you. So CFAs, we've heard a lot about that, common formative assessment, and then our outcome.
As a result of this session, participants will be able to identify knowledge barriers as they occur in the classroom by looking at student data from the district's Mastery Connect formative assessment and plan to support to improve student achievement.
Thank you so much. Okay, so what is the instructional core? What happens in effective PLCs? We have collaborative planning, deliberative practice, data analysis, and of course that student work analysis. All these strategies work to inform our instruction, and we are going to focus on data analysis today. Our key drivers of data analysis include assessment, analysis, action, and culture. Who would like to read assessment?
I'll read it. Creating rigorous interim assessments that provide meaningful data. You want to read the rest? Analysis. Examining the results of assessments to correctly identify the causes of both strengths and deficits. Action. Teaching more effectively what students most need to learn. And then culture. Creating an environment, and I can't see because there's
in which, I'll finish it, in which data-driven instruction can survive and thrive. Thank you so much for that, we appreciate you. All right, so this is the framework, right? We have that action, assessment, and analysis. It's data-driven decision-making process, and that is our culture at MSCS. So what is data-driven instruction? What is it all about? It is a philosophy for our schools to focus on 2 simple questions. How do we know if our students are learning? And if they're not, what do we do about it, right? So we're gonna shift that cognitive load. Curriculum entails transforming the written curriculum to the intended curriculum to the enacted curriculum. So here is the instructional core that MSCS focuses on. Who would like to read this one?
Student, content, teachers.
And this is all focused around?
Instructional tasks.
Right, yes, in the instructional core. So what are the teachers doing? We are improving teachers' instructional expertise. That's their PDs like today and many more that we have. The content, we're providing academically challenging content that's rigorous and standard-based. We're engaging students in that learning process. And here is the core. We're planning, we have deliberate practice, observations, generating assessments, analyzing data, and of course, reteaching. We've heard a lot of this in a lot of our other PDs. Who would like to read this one?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
The bottom part, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It is the relationship between the teacher, the student, and the content, not the qualities of any one of them by themselves. That determines the nature of instructional practice, and each corner of the instructional core has its own particular role and resources to bring to the instructional process.
Thank you so much. So I love that this focuses on, does it focus on one particular area? What, they're all, yeah, it's a relationship between all the students and the students, the content, and the
Teacher.
Okay, I was like, we were saying content. Okay, yes, so all 3 of these. Whoops, my apologies. Okay, I don't even have this in front of me, so. Okay, Instructional core, so what is it? Who would like to read this one?
Increases in student learning occur only as a consequence of improvements in the level of content, teachers' knowledge and skill, and student engagement.
Okay, so,
There are only 3 ways to improve student learning at scale. Increase the level of knowledge and skill that the teacher brings to the instructional process. Increase the level and complexity of the content that students are asked to learn. Change the role of the student in the instructional process.
okay, so looking at this, what are some things you observe? What are some words that stick out to you?
The role of the student.
Okay, what is the role of the student in here? What are we doing with the student?
So, instead of
Like in your classroom, what is the role of the student?
to learn.
Active learning, so how?
Engagement.
Okay, so
So-
something is engaging.
So I guess if you would change the role, so after you taught it, maybe they will turn around and teach.
I love that, so they're the teacher, I love that, because we have that in
So
our
based
classroom for
on-
sure. What other things do we see here?
Ask higher order thinking questions.
Higher order
Part A,
thinking.
part B.
Yes, but what about increasing the level and complexity of the contents? What do we do there, how can we do that? So you have your particular content, you know, you're teaching our IKID1, and that student got it. Day 2, bam, they're ready to rock and roll. What do we do next?
More challenging.
Yes, because we know that they're ready, so they need enriched content to move on. But what if there's a student, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can repeat the words back to you. Have you had that where a student repeats to you, like the objective, they read it and they know what it says? But if you ask them what it means or to put it in their own words,
They can't
blank,
speak.
blank, you know, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, we have to be able to go back to that student to help make sure that they are also coming along in the complexity of that content. Can somebody read that?
If you're not doing one of these 3 things, you are not improving instruction.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So when educators think about changing instruction, they typically focus not on the instructional core, but on various structures and processes that surround that core that we saw earlier. It's the change in the knowledge and skill that the teachers bring to the practice, the type of content to which students gain access, and that role that students play in their own learning that determines what students will know and be able to do. So it's that student driving their learning, because we're bringing it, we're really more like facilitators at some point in the content and delivery. Not in the very beginning, obviously, we're modeling, but then after the point, they're ready to do it themselves. So here's the instructional core. New friends, new voices.
If you change any element of the core, you have to change the other 2 to affect student outcomes. What, you wrong?
Somebody else?
If you can't see it in the core, it's not there.
The task predicts student performance.
The real accountability system is in the task the students are asked to do.
Teachers learn the work by doing the work.
You have description, analyze, predict, and evaluate.
Love that, thank you so much. So here you're gonna take a silent solo minute. How can educators effectively balance those 3 components of the instructional core, the content, the teacher, the student, to create a dynamic and engaging learning environment that promotes deep understanding and student success? I'll give you maybe 30 seconds.
A lot of reflection.
It is. So maybe just focus on one. Would that work? Ready to turn to talk? All right, go ahead and turn and talk to your partners. How do you think you can effectively balance these 3 components?
Partner.
I know.